They are at war with us. Whether we think it's not happening or not is irrelevant. Okay, it is happening. So you prepare and you do the best you can, because we're coming closer and closer to this nodal point where the quote harvest takes place. And when that takes place, the side of dark wants as many as they can possibly get. I mean, there's nothing new. You can see in all of the ancient scriptures the same type of, kind of demarcation points that it talks about. They want to come in and they want as much as they can. First of all, they want a whole lot of it for an energy source. And the second part, they want to create their own armies. And humans are a very special breed. We've got a lot of DNA, higher dimensional DNA from a lot of different beings. It makes us very, very unique. So they're going to come in and they're going to do what they do. And what they do is they monitor throughout the dimensional timelines and they look for your moments of vulnerability. And then they install moments of vulnerability. And then when they get you, like Gabrielle was talking about earlier, they get you into one of these emotional states, or they can trigger your habitual subconscious mind patterning, basically, what you generally think to, what triggers you, and then they can drive you into that negative emotional response. Then they've got you. And even before then, though, they are setting humanity. They've essentially created this reality. But actually, what they did is they kind of convinced us to create it for them. They really don't have that much power in that sense. So they convince humanity that this is the way that reality is supposed to be. And then our collective consciousness establishes that reality. If you believe this is a simulacrum, we end up programming what the overall foundational matrix is going to be. They convince us to do it. And they convince us by keeping us into these lower vibratory patterns, these lower levels of consciousness that I was hoping we would get to today. Because there's a couple of them that are incredibly effective and everybody knows what they are. But a lot of people don't realize how subtle and how long it took to establish this system that we're all locked into. Well, not all of us, because some have risen beyond this, but much of humanity.
Why do you say that it took that long? If they're so powerful, why do you think it took to them so long to, embed those systems or initiatives so that we are not even aware of, well, most of us are not aware of what's going on? Why did it take so long, Mike or Gabrielle?
It's a different type of an energy, okay? We can come in, and once we connect and we begin to blaze up in true light, we're connected with source, we can bring through this light, we can funnel it through. We become conduits for an amazing amount of light, very purified Christ consciousness energy. That's one of, when we talk about what the higher levels of consciousness are, that's the most intense form of light that we have access to in these planes. So when we bring that through, yes, we are like shining suns. And if we focus correctly, I mean, instead of just being a flashlight here and there, if that light is focused like a laser beam and exposes what they're doing, because what they've been doing is spending thousands of years, and especially the last few hundred years, in putting all of these dark energy patterns in. So if you pull out, you bilocate out of this, above this earth or above this simulacrum, and you're looking down at this copy world, whatever you want to think of it as, of this matrix, an overlay from an original 5D into a 3, however you look at it, you will begin to see these things. And the moment that you take those out, guess what they do? They just wait until you're finished and then start reestablishing it, because they've already spent so much time infecting every single component of this. And yes, it takes thousands of years. And it's funny now because the old gods, appear to be back, which is, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes here after Gabrielle. And what they're doing, and these old gods weren't even gods, they were demons, for lack of a better word, the ones that existed in Mesopotamia and everything. Their practices, the way they implemented it back then, and then later in Greek and Minoan periods, is the exact same as what we're seeing now. So you've got all of these different factions coming into play, and even though they don't necessarily all get along, their end goal is the same, and they're working together for that. And we need to eradicate that in order to give humanity enough of a chance to breathe, so that we can also give a lot of these new up and coming, crystal children, this latest generation, a chance, which are very, if you have children at that age, you can see how really kind of they're overwhelmed. They feel like they're just, most of them don't even want to have children. Now, I shouldn't say most. Hopefully that's not true, but many don't. They don't see a future.
We are right now in the middle of episode number 2 of the Maverick Mindset Show. We are here with Michael and Gabrielle Spencer, and I would like to suggest that we do something, if that's okay with you. Okay, so as you know, I like to do unconventional stuff on the XPNsion Network show, and I wouldn't like this to be an exception. So why don't we do something? Why don't we kind of reconvene? Why don't we bring our audience right now and everybody who's going to be watching this show, later when we upload it to Roku TV and to Amazon Fire TV, or they just watch it on any other social media network? Why don't we do an exercise? Why don't we do a practice to break that, that like inertia, that those habits, this, three-dimensional, state in which we are, and this matrix in which we are so attached to. Would you be up for it, guys?
Absolutely.
All right. So how would you like to start?
You can do
Michael, Gabrielle, exactly. Is that okay? Would you like me to play maybe some background music to make it even easier?
It's fine. We're deciding who wants to go first.
Would you like to do a meditation first, and then I'll follow up with a visualization or an activation?
Okay, so yeah, sure. We'll do it. All right. So everybody, close your eyes and take a deep breath. In and out.
Tell me if you like this song, okay? I'm going to put some music, some tune, if that's okay.
Sure.
You tell me.
All right. So take your deep breath, and I want you to, with your eyes closed, you're going to allow your eyelids to flutter. And this is going to put you into a theta brainwave state, which allows you to get into that semi-conscious place so that you're more easily able to connect with the higher vibrational energies and entities and receive and stay aware. So you're semi-conscious. It's like the dream state almost. So you're going to close your eyes and roll your eyeballs up toward your eyebrows while your eyelids are closed. So your eyelids will flutter. Take 3 deep breaths in and out, allowing yourself to shift over into the theta brainwave state. And then rest your eyes. Mother, Father, God, it is commanded that our highest selves be connected to the highest conscious light vibration of God. Through this connection, we connect with Mother Mary, Archangels Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel, and the golden beings of light, and Melchizedek and Metatron. And we call this group to assist us, first, to receive the golden light of Christ consciousness through our crown chakra and down through our entire chakra system, awakening ourselves to the highest vibration possible. And all of us gathering together on the etheric level to join our energy and the light to connect us from high heart to high heart. And now see yourself, all of us in a circle, expanding the light and embracing the higher selves of all that hear the clarion call to awaken. The higher selves of all those willing and able to receive. And for this golden light of Christ consciousness to heal and release all that keeps people, or keeps each person who presents themselves from being able to receive, to release, and to heal it, so their high hearts can be expanded, opened to receive this golden light. And for some, that may be releasing all fears of connecting with God. And for others, it may be about worthiness. We just know that whatever comes to your mind as to what is keeping you from being fully open-hearted to receive God and His love and His light into your heart and into your life, and to awaken you so that you can walk your highest divine path in service to God. It is being dissolved. All of the barriers, the limitations, and the beliefs that keep you from this heightened state and frequency. Take a deep breath in and out and see the light dissolve all that is hindering you from awakening. It's right before your very eyes. Take a deep breath in and out and allow this light to fill you with joy, peace, and love. Thank you. So be it. So it is. So mote it be. It is done. Now allow yourself to just take another deep breath and bring your spirit self anchoring fully into your physical body. Should feel lighter and brighter. All right.
All right, thank you. Okay, that sets a stage. Let's now, everybody rise up into their higher self. The higher self is the totality of all lives that you have had. If you want to think of it from a linear perspective, and it's not, it's all time is now, it would be every life that you have had as a human, all the way up to being a superhuman, at the end of this universe. Thousands upon thousands of lives. All of that experience, all of that knowledge, all of everything is held within that higher self. Pull up into that right now. And in that perspective, look at the earth, look at the simulacrum, look at this copy world, look at this 5D world overlaid in a 3D. However you see the earth, pull yourself so that you are up, surrounding this earth completely. We're in a huge circle with many other people joining us at a later time, because in this environment, in this etheric environment, time is not what is important. Place yourself basically between the equator and the North Pole in a hemispheric circle around the earth, where you're looking down at it. The earth would be roughly the size of a beach ball or a large basket or something like that. See it. Now, call in the I am presence. This incredible intelligence that all of our higher selves are a part of. That is an influence of literally the light workers, or an accumulation of the light workers that you see on this planet, their guides, everything else, and more. This I am presence that we understand. See this blazing now right above the earth, and call it in, and now command it to bring forth the Christ consciousness energy and to seed it directly. It comes in as a ray, almost like a plasma or a lightning, right into the center of your being. And as it's coming in there, it floods up into your mind, creating a rod of power and oscillation. Feel that begin to grow and blaze up. And then share it with all of those around you. Send forth beams of light that pure Christ conscious, so that you're energizing everyone. And watch everyone blaze up like a small little sun. See us all in intense golden white. And understand that Christ consciousness energy embodies the intelligence of Jesus the Christ, Sananda, the most radiant one. And at this point now, look upon the earth. Look upon it with your third eyes. Look at all of the areas and see where these dark tendrils are coalescing. See them coalescing in our governments. See them coalescing in our schools and universities and in cultural places. See it all. Wherever humanity masses, you can see this dark mass and these intelligences behind this mass directing these energies. And now focus on our youth, on the 21-year-old and below, all the way down to 3, 4, 5 years old. Focus on them. See them focused in schools. That's one of the places where they generally tend to congregate, or see them in all of these different places where you can isolate a large number of them. Focus on them like little sparks of light that is being surrounded by all of this massive darkness. And now, as that Christ consciousness light is blazed up so strong in you, pick a couple of those nodal points where those children gather and send that light forth into them. And as it goes into them, see them blaze forth and witness that dark tendril energy pull away and begin to flood them, those children, with pure Christ consciousness light, and see it flow and fill that emptiness that has been in their heart centers. See it fill with that light. See that flood also up into their minds, showing them alternatives to the way of life that darkness has presented to them, without them even being aware. Blaze that forth. And as soon as you're done, pick another concentration, another school, another playground, another place where these children congregate, and send that forth, and keep doing that, wave after wave of this energy. And then begin to connect every one of those nodal points together, so you begin to create a matrix of that pure golden light all around the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere as well. Wherever children are amassing, wherever that dark mass has grown and has become so concentrated, know that it is pulling away. It is pulling away. Now, shift your consciousness into a whole different spectrum and focus multidimensionally, not just on this plane of existence, not just in this timeline, but in all adjacent timelines and dimensionalities. See that, pushing that, so that darkness can't just flitter into another reality and then wait until everything kind of seeps its way through. Give these children a chance to see that purification, that light. And now blaze all of it up. See that matrix flare up in pure golden white light. See it begin to spread into other areas. And send forth all of your love into these children. And return to your bodies and go about your days.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for such a powerful, so powerful meditations from both of you. We really appreciate you. I'm sure that the audience, was getting a little bit emotional here. I really was into what you were saying, and I really, experienced something really, really powerful inside of me. So thank you for making this possible to all of us today. Today we're talking, this is episode number 2 of the Maverick Mindset Show. Every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US, we are here with Michael and Gabrielle Spencer. And today we're talking about how to acknowledge, how to identify those dark forces that we are up against. And we have started to talk about how to identify them. How do we, feel them every single day? And we actually just had a couple of meditations in order to change the state. I really like, as you know, when someone that really made, change your state very, very popular in these countries, Tony Robbins, he says, change your state. I think that really that's something that we did today with those 2 meditations. Thank you so much. But let's continue helping those that still are unaware of how to come out of that shell that they have been living for since they were born. How can we help them? How can we, make them aware of what's going on around them? And you mentioned you started going through the chakras, Gabrielle, and I would like you to share with the audience why going through the chakras is an important thing to do. What's the role that the chakras play in our body and our daily life?
The appendix. I know you didn't expect me to start out with the appendix. The appendix is in your body, like your tonsils are in your body. They are basically toxin stores, right? They store the toxins, they take them out of your body, right? And they store them away from you so that they don't harm you. Your chakras have many functions. So part of it is that a lot of emotional energy and trauma gets stored in the chakras. And so when the chakras are clean and clear, that means that you have healed and released and gotten rid of all of that emotional debris that has been stored within them. So when we talk about your heart chakra, I mean, everybody can say, well, my heart chakra, okay, I've had some pain in my life. Well, as we've gone through all of our existences, all of that energy has been stored within our chakra system, as well as within our physical bodies and our energetic bodies. But our chakra system is definitely the first line of defense. Like, you have to clear that aspect of yourself out as much as possible. It makes it easier for you to then bring in light, hold light, feel the effect of light. Otherwise, think about Drano down a sink, right? A sink gets clogged, and unless you have something really powerful to move out or dissolve that clog, it's there and you're not getting any water past it. And it's the same with light. We have to be the clear vessel. That is what we are. And our chakra system is really your first line of defense, so that if you are lighter, right? And so as you clear out your chakra system, you become lighter and are more able to get it. So Michael and I were talking about this the other day. So when you're in kindergarten, you don't understand physics. You don't really even understand how to multiply and divide, right? We don't understand these things because we're young or asleep. We haven't been taught. And so as we awaken the chakra system, your vibration will rise enough, or will begin to move your vibration up, so you become aware of things that were right in front of your face, but that you didn't see or understand. And so that is why they began. I have never actually done a meditation like that, where we've awakened the entire chakra system. But that is what they provided in order to help people. It's almost like a jump start. It's what they're showing me. It's like jumper cables. Let's move you as fast as we can. And that's one of the fastest ways of doing it, after forgiveness, which we talked about last week. So forgiveness, and now this super jump for the chakra system to receive the light is really powerful.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I mean, ultimately, our goal is to raise our vibration. And what does that mean? I mean, everybody talks about we're going to raise our vibration, but it's talking about increasing the vibratory rate. Einstein said everything is vibration. It's about increasing the vibration rate, not just in our physical cell structures, but throughout our etheric bodies and everything else, our auric fields and all of that, so that we are in a natural state of these higher levels of consciousness, as opposed to being in what Gabrielle calls the mass consciousness. So let's talk a little bit about what mass consciousness is. I mean, the very lowest form of mass consciousness, what do you think it is? What do you think it is, Angel? The lowest form of mass consciousness.
You're putting me on the spot, right?
I am indeed.
The lowest form.
Fear. What do you think? Apathy.
The lowest frequency. He means.
Yeah, probably if I had to say something, I would say, fear. Yeah, but
fear.
There's also different. But there's different grades in fear, right?
Yep. Fear is actually about midway up the ladder. The lowest point
Okay.
is victimhood. Shame. Somebody wrote shame. Shame is right up there too.
Okay.
Victimhood is the very, very lowest. Why is it right now, and especially in the United States, and we're even starting to see it in Europe a little bit too, in Australia, why is it that all of a sudden victimhood is almost rewarded?
It's everywhere.
You are almost placed on a pedestal if you are a victim. You deserve extra accolades. I'm in victimhood. I'm being victimized by somebody. We're almost being trained how to exist as a victim. When you're a victim, there's almost like no hope. There's no chance to rise above your position. There's no opportunity. Who would want you to be in a perpetual state of victimhood? Well,
Not God.
Yeah, it's the dark forces and all the they're human minions. Now, shame and guilt. Here's number 2 and 3. Shame is the very next one. If you were to think of it on an oscillating frequency, victimhood would be at a 0, shame would be at 20, victimhood would be at 30. We're borrowing from, what's that book called? Power versus Force. Yeah,
Dr. David Hawkins.
Yeah, if you're ever interested, you can go read more about that. Shame. Here is another thing. How many groups now try to get you to acquiesce to their belief systems or their ideologies or whatever they are? And if you don't, they try to shame you or guilt you into position. There's another powerful factor. And look how many people, especially in education and others, and in government work, where everybody will be, well, I don't want to stick my neck out and say anything against that. I better just keep quiet. And if you do say something, then they throw that shame on you. You should be ashamed of what you're thinking. You should feel guilty about this. Realistically, what is that about? That's about control. That's
manipulation.
And manipulation. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's our next one? Our next one is the most dangerous one that we're facing right now, and that is apathy, or some people call it depression and things like that. But apathy, that sense.
But let me stop you right there.
Sure.
Let me stop you right there. But because apathy is like you just don't care, right? I mean, there's no like energy in one towards one side, in one direction or in the other direction, right? Everybody would say apathy is just you don't care, right? You
More
don't
than
care.
that.
Why is that so dangerous from a mass consciousness perspective?
Yeah, it's more than just I don't care. It's why should I care?
It's hopelessness.
What's the point?
Yes.
Everything is stacked against me. The man is against me. The system is against me. Everything is, I can't get anywhere. I may as well just lay back. And what's the big thing the young people are doing? I'll smoke pot and play video games. I'm in a system of apathy. Well, guess what happens when you're in apathy?
You end up in depression.
Yeah. Well, and
anxiety
yeah.
and stress. And I think that is why there's an epidemic of young people feeling suicidal and so disconnected. It all comes down to disconnection and mass consciousness and the side of dark. The goal is to keep you disconnected from one another, from human contact, from your connection with your higher self, your connection with God. Everything is designed to keep you disconnected. And even not caring about what's going on around you is a form of disconnection. And that just breeds that lower vibrational victim energy. And then it's easy to keep everybody manipulated and controlled because they're not bringing in light. They are not bringing in energy. They are not saying, you know what? I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to do one thing, just one thing that's positive, whether it be for your health or for somebody around you that also then brings light to you and to them. So then you start sharing the light, right? So if people are in apathy, they're not doing any of that. And so everything around you begins to crumble from lack of care. And this, I mean, there's just so many levels of why this is harmful as people, as humans. Everything dies from neglect. Anybody not water a houseplant for a while? I mean, that's just water and then putting it near a window. So it's the same for humanity. We are meant to have one another. We are not isolated people. We don't thrive in that. And we are not meant to be disconnected from our higher selves and from our spirit selves. And that is what mass consciousness is busy doing, is making sure that we are disconnected in every way possible. Overwhelm, stress, anxiety, all of those things. Back to survival, which is back to victim.
And when you're in apathy, what's going to stop you from resisting when people tell you you need to be a victim? Or when people shame you into acquiescence? What's the point? I can't struggle against this. Do you see how insidious this is? This is the overlay that we are seeing on humanity right now. This system where we're basically just taking out the entire desire to want to pull my pants on and do some good for the world. I mean, it's insidious. And that brings us right into the next one, which is,
Hold on. Before you go there, Mike, you are not going to believe this. Well, you are going to believe it, but you know what I did? When you mentioned the appendix, I immediately went online and I Googled how many appendicitis are being dealt with on an annual basis in the US alone.
Wow.
So how many people are having their appendixes removed in the US alone every single year? And you're not going to believe these guys. You're not going to believe this. In 2019, so 4 years ago, 17 million Americans had their appendixes removed. You know, and so that you know, the cost of that operation varies between $15,000 and $180,000, so that you know. So almost 18 million people in the US alone. We're talking about the population, about 350 million here in the US. So no wonder what you said. So there's maybe someone that knows what's the role, right? Because I always learn in the school that nobody knows what the appendix is for, so we remove it, right? So if there's something going on in your intestines, so you remove it. Can you please elaborate that? If you add up, every single year, and the number keeps growing, by the way, every single year. So, and because you mentioned the role of the appendix, so would you mind, Gabrielle, what can we do? I still have my appendix. I don't know about you, but could you please elaborate? Could you please elaborate to the people, because there's going to be millions of people here in this country alone that they don't have an appendix anymore. What can they do to make sure that their body still has this, drainage system that the appendix role that the appendix plays?
Yeah, it just like your tonsils, and they're very big also about removing your tonsils. But all of those are filters for your body to remove toxins, and basically almost instead of a tumor, right? It actually takes it in and it's supposed to try to deal with it. But the thing is that when it becomes overburdened, because we live in a toxic world on the physical level, we have chemicals everywhere. They're on our food, they're in our water, they're in the air. So our bodies have a really hard time. And of course, like I said, part of the overall plan is, as long as we stay sick, right, then we don't have the energy to spend worrying about connecting and praying and keeping our vibration high, because it's low. When we're sick, our vibration is not as high. That's just how it is. So in order to help yourself, if you have lost your appendix, so Michael does not have his appendix.
Mine ruptured.
Yes, when he was young. And I still have my appendix. However, I would suggest that you do detoxes. So I was telling Michael the other day, we need to do a liver detox. And so then I started reading up on it again. We've done it, but a long time ago. And so our livers become overloaded. And so you need all of your organs to be in good health. So there are, we always do the lemon and olive oil and Epsom salt. It's a whole thing. You can Google it. It's not lovely, but it works. And so you have to detox your body. And that means you need to be taking care of what you're eating. You're drinking water with lemon, organic lemon, or lemon essential oil. And these things help keep your body detoxed, right? So you need to be drinking a lot of water. So I just bought Michael and I 32-ounce bottles.
Garbage can.
Yeah, so that we're really paying attention. right? So yeah, there's a lot of things that are great for helping your liver and your pancreas and your gallbladder. I'm sure if you were to Google gallbladder as well, that's going to be a ton of people. And it just tells you that we're being overloaded energetically and in the physical with toxins, because let's be real, victim energy is toxic. That's what we're saying. Shame and guilt and all of these emotions are toxic. For the longest time, everybody would say dis-ease. That's disease, right? DIS-ease. It's dis-ease. It's when you are not at ease within yourself, within your energetic, within your mind, within your heart. There's I always think of it like, the angel and the devil on the shoulder, right? So they're always fighting with one another. People have a lot of internal struggle that creates toxic energy that makes you sick. It makes your body unable to filter out the toxins, to digest your food. Your digestion is absolutely the reason for ill health or low immune system. So when you're subject to being sick all of the time, start with your digestive system, because that's where your immune system gets its strength. So that should tell you a lot right there.
Well, there's another element too. Our lymphatic system is what removes all of our toxic material. Yes, it does. The tonsils, gallbladder and things like that.
Kidney, there's a whole lot of them.
Yeah, the liver, all of these have their different functions, but it's the lymphatic system. How do you think the lymphatic system functions? It functions when you're moving, really walking. We are designed to walk 8 to 15 miles a day. Raise your hand if you're walking 8 to 15 miles a day. Lucky if we're walking out to the car to go drive to Publix and then walk into the public shopping center or something. I mean, hopefully that's not you, but if it is, hey, welcome. You're pretty much like most Americans are. But the other thing, we're not designed to sit down all day. So we're just storing this toxic material. So if you're getting in these states where you're feeling toxic or
sluggish,
folks, get out and walk, right. Exercise, move. If you're depressed, that's one of the first things you should do. If you're in apathy or you're in, there's a lot of young men now, because there's a lot of, in the schools, if you talk to young teenagers and stuff, they're told that, it's toxic masculinity, I'm the cause of all problems and everything else like that. And they've gotten to the point now where they just get in this sort of apathetic stage. I tell them, look, go work out, go run, go jog, go exercise, and it'll help clear it. Don't play 10 hours of video games tomorrow. And darn sure don't smoke a whole ton of pot, because that's not going to get you anywhere either. Don't drink excessively. Don't do these things. Exercise, eat healthy.
Get sun.
Yeah, get some sunlight. I mean, these are very, very basic things, but they also help dealing with these entire lower emotional body, these lower frequencies. What's the dark side want us to be in the future? The meta and all this other stuff. What do you think that's going to be? That's like playing video games now for 12 hours a day instead of, 8 or whatever.
It's to keep you disconnected.
Or to be on your cell phone looking at social media. Do you know the average amount of time teenagers spend on their cell phone, Gen Z? I mean, it's like 6 to 8 hours.
They're not the only ones.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's been fascinating, and we've only scratched the surface. I know, but the problem with the conversations that we have with Michael and Gabrielle is that you guys are challenging everybody's understanding. It's continuous. Every time that you mention something, every time that you do something, even every time that you meditate, as we did today twice, you're definitely challenging the understanding of all of us. And obviously, we appreciate you. We appreciate very much also Angela Binch, who has been with us all the time and has been, interacting with us all the time. Michael and Gabrielle, would you like to say something to finish our second episode here, our second show of the Maverick Mindset Show today, before we call it a day?
I want to just say that life is awesome and just keep going, but find cool people to hang with as you journey. That's important.
My last thing will be, when 2 or more gather in my name, Obviously, Jesus was speaking that, but you can apply that to Krishna. Here's something interesting.
We're ending.
Jesus spent a whole lot of time getting rid of demons out of people. Krishna that's like the equivalent over in India, spent a massive amount of times destroying demons. Buddha spent an enormous amount of time battling Maya, the illusion of reality, this simulacrum's operating system, if you want to go that way. The whole point on this is there is something that we have that can overcome all of this. It's love. Jesus gave a command I mentioned the last time. Love God with all of your heart, soul, and mind. Love your brother and sister as you would yourself. That's the strongest message that we can give. 2 or more gather in my name. I gave a very basic level activation visualization that everybody can go back and do. I recommend doing it with groups of people, not necessarily isolating on your own, unless you are going to connect with another group of people. And begin to do that, because we'll do some more of these that get more complex as we go along. And what they do is they get us used to working together, and we begin to discover just how powerful we really are. And that's the goal here.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Gabrielle. It's been a pleasure to have you here with us today again. XPNsion Network, accelerating the consciousness of humanity every single day. This was episode number 2 of the Maverick Mindset Show, every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. I'm sure that you would like to know more. You can either wait until next week, or you can go to GabrielleSpencer.com to know more, and you will definitely have a wealth of information, of experiences that will definitely help you understand much better what we are doing here, and your understanding will definitely be challenged. Michael, Gabrielle, thank you very much for being with us today again. Thank you to our audience, especially to Angela, for being so active for the entire show. Love is all there is. Amen. That's what she is saying today. It's a pleasure to have you, Angela. And to the rest of the audience, I'm sure that you have enjoyed our conversation as much as we have. Thank you so much for being with us. We love you. See you next Wednesday. Thank you very much, everyone.
For being.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.